Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll start with the questions. This morning, one of the students has following question regarding with the jhana. So previous week I talked about the 5 mastery of the jhanas, right? And he said that in the second mastery of the jhanas, you mentioned that one is able to attain different jhanas quickly and easily without many bhavangas arising in the process. Without many bhavangas. Actually, he want to emphasize this one. Without many bhavangas arising in the process. So I'm assuming that during meditation, when bhavanga arise, the jhana chetas have ceased. And you are correct. So if there is a bhavanga, jhana cheta start to function. Jhanas dropped or start to function, right? What happens during these bhavangas? Does it mean that the meditator has fallen asleep? Or the meditator has no thought but is not in jhana? Can you please elaborate? Actually, the first one, the meditator has fallen asleep. To talk about bhavanga, actually bhavanga, bhava anga, bhava means life, anga means the ingredient or the factors of life, the most important factor. Important factor of our life. So these are resident consciousness. So we do good and bad things in previous life, right? So that way give it the result in this life as a river consciousness. As a river consciousness. So that river consciousness, after one mind moment, the until we die. And that the same river consciousness make 2 type of functions. So one, bhavanga. So bhavanga is a resident consciousness, therefore they are not active. So especially when we are sleeping, so a lot of bhavanga. So when we are without dreamless sleep, so all the bhavanga, right? No active process of mind. That's another one. But another type is even during active process of mind, there may be a lot of bhavanga. Suppose even I'm not talking, so there may be a lot of bhavanga between between active process of mind. So if I cannot think very well, more bhavanga. If I can think and if I can speak very quickly, less bhavanga, right? Less bhavanga. This is 2 types, I would say. The first one is during we are sleeping, right? Totally not active. But even between active process of mind, now my mind is thinking a lot. Your mind is thinking a lot, right? During 2 mind process, there are some bhavanga. Some people has less bhavanga, especially those are very intelligent people and also very active people. less bhavanga. For those who are lazy or less intelligent, more bhavanga, right? But these consciousness are not active, right? Not active. But here, the first one, the meditator has fallen asleep. I think if we are in jhana, actually near to the jhana, after jhana or before jhana, I think we are not likely to sleep. Because jhana chaitas are very powerful, right? Very powerful. So before or after, we will not be sleepy, right? Of course, sometimes some meditator said that during their meditation, they look like they fall asleep. No thinking, right? Everything became blank. Maybe it's because of bhavanga, right? It's nothing to do with the jhana, right? Nothing to do with the jhana. Here, the second mastery of the jhana, said that samapajana vasibhava, the mastery in attainment. So that means the ability to attain the different jhanas quickly and easily, without many bhavanga arising in the process of their attainment. As you know, when we attain jhana for the first time, there is only one mind movement. Jhana, one mind movement, according to Abhidhamma, right? One mind movement. After one jhana consciousness, there will be a lot of bhavanga. For those who are intelligent or active all the time, less bhavanga, right? For those who are not active or who are maybe less intelligent, they may have a lot of bhavanga, right? A lot of bhavanga. But anyway, when meditator is practicing jhana for many times, he is clever in practicing jhana, entering jhana, right? For those times, one jhana movement, consciousness movement to another, maybe in between, there may be less bhavanga. So that is what mastery is going to say, the mastery of the attainment. So between jhana attainment, so we try to reduce the amount of bhavanga, the amount of an active consciousness, right? So that is what master is going to say. Here also, so when we are doing something, we can also practice this one, right? To reduce the amount of bhavanga. So bhavanga are the consciousness that are not very active, right? So whatever we do, when we are walking, when we are talking, when we are thinking, we try to reduce the amount of inactive mind or bhavanga, right? We can also do like this. So meditator has no thoughts, but it's not in a jhana. Actually, if we understand the nature of bhavanga, it's quite easy, right? As I said, before and after jhana, our mind is really very powerful. So I think naturally we are not sleeping. But of course, when we come out from the jhana, there may be some thinking, some thought, right? Sometimes we call it reviewing of Pachavakana. We try to review what we have experienced during the jhana, right? During the jhana. Of course, the thought, thinking may be there, or the reviewing may be there, right? So this is the question from the students, okay? So I think the jhanas are very difficult to explain. Of course, if we have our own experience, easier to explain. Yeah? Just like talking about our life mindset, right? Very more easier. So anyway, today we will go to immaterial consciousness. We're trying to explain immaterial consciousness. So here, Arupa Vajra Cheda, immaterial sphere consciousness. So this one I have explained previous week. Three type of immaterial sphere consciousness. So we have a 4% Arupa Cheda, 4 resident Cheda, 4 functional consciousness, right? Altogether 12. So here, regarding with the immaterial, I think if we learn today, you will understand that this is a formless meditation. Formless meditation. So during this meditation, immaterial sphere consciousness, so there will be no perception of form. So therefore we call it immaterial. So such as the infinity of space between one person and another. There is space, right? There's no material form. One table to another, there is space. No material form, right? So even though Abhidhamma, the Buddha said that this is considered as a matter or rupa, but this is not real rupa. Just concept, right? Just concept. So therefore, the infinity of space is not material form. The infinity of consciousness, yeah, of course, this is not material form. Now we have wholesome consciousness. We have 4 wholesome consciousness. Number 1, wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space, limitless space. Number 2, the wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite consciousness. Here, consciousness. Number 3, wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. Nothingness. That's nothing, so we'll explain later. Number 4, wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of neither perception or non-perception. So this is a perception is a mental factor, right? Mental factor. So therefore, it is not material form. Therefore, all these are called immaterial sphere consciousness. So these 4 chetas are experienced by worldlings, Puthojana, or trainees, Sikha. So their responding resident chetas arises only in the immaterial realms. I think if we learn that chapter, you will know this one. So actually, these corresponding resident chetas function only 3 things. Number 1 is it will be the resident consciousness in the immaterial sphere realm, Arupa realm, right? As a resident consciousness. River consciousness. As a river consciousness. Then during during immaterial sphere realm, so it was serve as a Vanga. Another one is a death consciousness. Only 3 functions. So therefore, those resident chetas arise only in the immaterial realm. Now, functional consciousness, as usual, experienced by arahants, right? Arahants. So altogether, we have 12 immaterial sphere realms, consciousness. To attain immaterial sphere jhanas, one had to practice meditation with one of the 9 kasina meditation method. Normally, we have a 10 kasina meditation method. So among them, so we cannot practice space, akasa kasina method. So this one we cannot. If we practice this one, we cannot attain immaterial sphere consciousness. So here, arupa jhana of the 5th jhana. So we can call immaterial sphere jhana as a fifth jhana according to Abhidhamma. But according to Sutta, fourth jhana, right? Fourth jhana. So there are only two jhana factors, equanimity and one-pointedness. So as you know, when we learn about 1 to 5th jhana, material jhana, 5 material jhana, so we try to reduce the amount of feeling. So when we arrive the 5th jhana, the feeling became equanimity, right? Our feeling is reduced to minimum level. But here also, so when we attain immaterial jhana also, so this also considered as a 5th jhana or 4th jhana. The reason is they are together with equanimity and one-pointedness. Of course, the power of the mind, especially the power of the feeling, is reduced to lesser and lesser. They are lesser and lesser, right? So when we arrive the 4th arupa jhana, 4th immaterial sphere jhanas, so we neither perception or non-perception, right? Here perception means talking about all the Citta and Cettasika. So all the Citta and Cettasika look like nothing, right? Look like nothing. So therefore, it's reduced to. So when we write the 4 immaterial jhana, reduced to minimum level. So here, regarding with the kasina, before we learn about immaterial jhanas, we need to know about kasina. So based on that, we have to practice. So otherwise, we cannot attain, right? We cannot attain immaterial jhana. So here, kasina means whole or totalities. So when we practice meditation object, so we have to look at the whole and total of meditation object. We have to observe total of or the whole meditation method, just like here, right? So here, this is a yellow kasina. I will say that, right? Yellow kasina, yellow color one. So meditator have to sit down and just look at this one, this circle. You have to look at the whole circle, not in one part, not at the center. You have to look at the whole circle. So that is called kasina, right? Regarding with the kasina meditation, Bhikkhu already write that kasinas are discs representing elements or colors used as a objects of samadhi meditations. So we have a colors as well as elements. For example, the art kasina is a disc filled with the reddish brown clay. And I will show you the picture later. So the water kasina is a bowl of water. The color kasinas are colored disc. So as I said, the guy is looking at the yellow color disc, right? So this is a yellow color. So this one is we call it art kasina, reddish brown color. Sometimes we call it dawn color, right? So when the sun arises, so we have the color. Before sun arises, will be color, right? So the best thing is to take it that color. So this is the art kasina. Here kasina means totality or whole. So when we look at this meditation object, so we have to look at the whole, right? But it should be 9 or 10 inches in diameter. If the kasina object is too big, we cannot see totally, right? But of course, people at the behind can see it. But at the front, too big, too big for that, right? So I think when we do art casino, we have to do around 9 or 10 inches in diameter, so that it will be easier to look at the whole casino, right? The whole casino. That is the practice. For those who want to know more detail, you can go to these pages, right? These pages. But to make casino, make a disc. Sometimes some translator use device or socket on a cloth or on a wall or a frame filled with the reddish brown clay. It should be 9 or 10 inches in diameter. So the surface of the clay should be made as smooth as possible. So I meant that 9 or 10 inches of sake. So you have to paste the reddish colored clay, right? But when you paste it, try to make it smooth, right? As much as possible. Try to make it smooth, so that when you see that, you see less defects, right? So it will be have to try to be smooth, right? You have to put it in front of you, not too close, not too far. Normally, as the picture shows, that the guy is sitting around 3 or 4 feet away, right? 3 or 4 feet away. So you have to sit down, sit comfortably, and keep the upper part of the body upright. So you can sit down as usual. So keep your body upright, right? Sit down comfortably. So keep the casino discs in front of you, in front of your eye, right? It should be very straight to your eye. It shouldn't be up or down. It shouldn't be at your front, so that when you see the casino discs, it will be easier to see, and it will be clearer to see, right? Look at the whole of art discs, casino discs, attentively with the full of concentration. It's a very important part. So your meditation method is the art casino, right? The art casino. So put it in front of you, 3 or 4 feet away. Just look at that one. So all your attention must be there. Do not think about other things, right? All your attention must be there. So while looking at it, you have to recite in your mind, art, the art, the art, the art, or art, 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 right? In English. In Bali, better we, in your mind, right? In your mind. So you have to, not quickly, of course, but not like this, right? Not very slowly, in usual pace, right? Usual pace. So you have to, while you are looking at that casino disc, so you have to recite in your mind, the art, the art, the art, the art. Do not close your eye. Have to look at, right? The art, the art, the art. That's all. So just recite in your mind. You can use it any language. It's a very important one, because if we use our own language, it will be much better. So the most important thing is to visualize, to capture the casino is in our mind's eye. So the idea is we want to take photo with our mind, right? So this is the main point. You can use it any language. You have to do it under the sign. Now I think everyone knows Nimitta, right? Nimitta. Here Nimitta means the sign or the object in your mind, or mental object in your mind. is called nimitta, right? Nimitta. So you have to do it until the sign or the objects appear in your mind's eye. So the main point is to capture that object in your mind. So if you can memorize, if you can visualize as soon as possible, it is successful. Just looking at the casino disc and thinking here and there, it is not a good meditation, right? So all your attention must be there. So here Vitakka, bring your mind to the meditation object. So your mind may go away, then bring back, Vitakka, bring back your mind to the meditation object. And Vichara, trying to stay to meditation object, right? Mostly two jhana factors have to work together. Then you have to close your eye and try to visualize in your mind's eye that casino disc. Then by closing your eye, by visualizing that art disc, you recite in your mind, art, 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 or better we, like this, right? Then sometime it will lost in your mind again. You cannot remember, or you cannot memorize, you cannot visualize that nimitta or that sign, right? But you have to go back again and look at. And by looking at the casino disc, then you chant art, art, art. Trying to capture again. And close your eye, try again. So if you can memorize, you are successful. But if you cannot memorize, try to open your eye again. Have to capture, right? That meditation object. So in this stage, so that meditation object or that nimitta is called the preparatory sign or prekama nimitta. Now you're preparing to capture that casino disc, right? Preparatory stage or sign. So you're trying to visualize again until it appears in your mind very clearly and also firmly. So when that sign is captured in the mind, you can practice, you can go to anywhere. You can go to anywhere and you practice. You close your eye, try to visualize the art disc. Art, 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 or battery. So when that nimitta is very powerful, wherever you go, you'll be able to see that art disc, right? That meditation object. Even you do not close your eye, you will still see it, right? But here, if you can capture in your mind, you can go to anywhere. That you can practice, close your eye, and try to meditate on that nimitta again. Then now you can fully capture that nimitta in your mind's eye. So that is called grasp sign, because you can able to grasp that meditation object with your mind. Okha nimitta. Bhikkhu Bodhi and Bhikkhu Nyanamoli, they use learning sign, right? Learning sign. So actually this one is much better because the literal translation. So you're trying to grasp or you're trying to capture your mind, capture the meditation object in your mind, right? So that is called grasp sign. And you try to fix your mind upon that mental image of art disc, right? And also all the time you chant in your mind art, like this, right? So in this way you will be able to develop concentration further. So at this stage, meditator trying to eliminate 5 mental hindrances. So as you know, we have here 5 mental hindrances are very important. But when you learn Abhidhamma in the 7th chapter, so 6 mental hindrances. But here, avijja or ignorance is added as a hindrances, right? But I think in the Sutta, there's only 5 hindrances. So I think later I will show the reason why the Sutta said that, right? So 5 hindrances are sensory desire, right? Sensory desire, number 1. Awe, sloth and torpor, and restlessness and remorse, and doubt. That's all right. Sloth and torpor, yeah, all right. Only five, right? So when you can, so remember that you are trying to capture the meditation object in your mind. So when you are just focusing on all your attention on the meditation object, you will not have sensory desire and you will not have awe. But of course, if you cannot capture family, there will be sensory desire. You will think about something. Also, you will have a dislike or hatred, and you will have mental or bodily pain like this. Awe, right? You want to sleep the sloth and torpor like this. So you will have a mental hindrances. But at this stage, you are able to capture your meditation object, nimitta, in your mind. So therefore, all your attention is there. So there's no place for sensory desire, awe, etc. So in this way, you are trying to drive away 5 mental hindrances, right? Little by little. So in this way, the hindrances will become lesser and lesser. By gradually subsiding all these hindrances, the mind will be getting brighter and brighter. So as you know, our mind is not bright, not clear, because of hindrances. If we have, very good. Sorry. If we have sensory perception, sensory desire in our mind, if we have awe, even now we have a little bit of awe here. So what I want to say is, if we have those hindrances in our mind, right? Our mind is not clear, not bright. But now the meditator is trying to deepen his concentrations, trying to drive away, not only, actually he is not driving away intentionally, but he is just developing his concentration, one-pointedness of the mind to the meditation object, or nimitta. So in this way, all his attention is there. No place for hindrances. So in this way, if there is no hindrances, the mind became brighter and brighter, pure and pure. Right? So that is here, very important one. As a result of it, the sign, nimitta of akasina, being a reflection of the mind, will also be getting brighter and brighter. Think about that. We are now meditating on the nimitta or the sign on the earth disk, right? So actually we can capture that nimitta in our mind. So we develop our mindfulness, concentration, one-pointedness of the mind, only that meditation object, right? Then we try to remove, in this way, no chance for hindrances. If there's no hindrances, the mind became brighter and brighter, and clearer. So if the mind is clearer and pure, so the object, meditation object that we are taking is getting brighter. And brighter and brighter because of the mind. Actually, this is a mental image, right? If the mind is bright, if the mind is pure, that mental image also getting brighter, right? Remember that mental image, or we call it nimitta, or kinetics, getting brighter and brighter, right? So at this stage, defects such as finger impression. So as you know, when we make the art disc, right? So we have to use our hand and try to make smooth as much as possible, right? As much as possible. So anyway, there will be sand, foot impression there. But when your mind is, your concentration is getting higher and higher, when your mind is free from hindrances, the mind also getting purer and brighter. So actually that kasina disc in nimitta also the reflection of the mind. So therefore that kasina disc also getting brighter and brighter. Now at this stage there is no defects. So all the finger impression are removed. No more finger impression. Because the kasina disc is getting brighter, right? Shining or luminous. So it became like a shining sake ball. Shining sake ball in your mind. So remember that at this time only 9 or 10 inches, right? You have only 9 or 10 inches shining sake ball. Very shining. It is a reflection of the mind. If the mind is shining, if the mind is getting bright, so the reflection of the mind, that nimitta also getting brighter, right? Getting brighter. So at this stage, this kasina is no longer material form. So as you remember that when we meditate on the art kasina disc, so we make from the clay, right? We make from the clay. Clay is material form. But when you look at that kasina disc, it is just clay. It's real material form. But when you see in your mind's eye, then you see it as a material form, the real material form. Then your mind is getting brighter. That kasina disc or device also getting brighter and shining. All these clay disappear. Only the shining sake ball, right? So therefore, that shining mental image, that kasina or a shining luminous sake is no longer material form, no longer rupa. It is just a mental image. It is just a concept in the mind. It is mind created that one, not real material, right? This is very important one, very, very important to know that. So when we arrive this stage, that shining and luminous sake is no longer material form. It is a mental image. It is a concept created by our mind. Our mind created it. It's not reality. It's not parameter. It is just concept in our mind, right? So therefore, all the fine material jhana, so their object is concept, not reality, right? Not parameter. The mind free from mental hindrances entails more and more shining and luminous side. So as you know, the sake is getting luminous and shining. Such a bright and clear sake sign is called counterpart sign. Counterpart sign. another one, identical sign, which is identical with the original earth disk, right? Which is identical or replica of, not real one, but a copy of the original earth casino disk, right? It is called the sign. But at this stage, concentration is much more deeper, and our mind is just focused on meditation object that we made up, not going out for a long time. But of course, some time will go, right? So when we go sometime we may have sensory desire, sometimes we may have ill will, etc., right? Now the mind just anchors countable sign. Meditator is at the door of the first jhana. Now we call it assess jhana, assess concentration. Upasara samadhi, upachara samadhi, upachara samadhi. Now at the doorstep of the first jhana. So remember that when we attain the first jhana, it is together with thought, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, right? Ekagata. Now we are at the doorstep of the first jhana. So meditators start to eliminate mental hindrances, pancha nivarana, one after another. Vitakka, despair, sloth and torpor. This is very important. Night time, when we are thinking a lot, we cannot sleep, right? We cannot sleep because we do not have sloth and torpor. Vitakka, despair, sloth and torpor. Even it's quite clear, daily when we are sleeping, right? Sometimes a lot of thinking a lot. And Vitakka bring so many objects. Vitakka bring our mind to so many objects. Bring to our family, bring to the holiday trip like this, right? Wherever you like, you're thinking a lot. Vitakka bring you a problem. It creates suffering, but it's not good, right? If Vitakka bring to you a problem, it's not good. So like this, if we have a lot of Vitakka, a lot of thinking, a lot of thought, we don't have sloth and torpor. But we fall asleep if we have a lot of sloth and torpor, right? So therefore, but here in Vitakka, in meditation, so our mind is not fresh in meditation. By this time, so we have to bring our mind to the meditation object, right? With the help of energy or effect. So we have to bring our mind to the meditation object. Bring our mind to the meditation object. In this way, sloth and torpor disappear. So here, at this assess concentration stage, so we take up despair, the sloth and torpor. Vichara drive away doubt. Here, vichara means we call it initial application, right? Or examination. So vichara examine the meditation object. So here, our meditation object now is a shining sake ball. Shining, right? Shining. So vichara examine that meditation object without thinking anything. So only just examining, anchoring that meditation object. So therefore, we know the meditator know meditation object very clearly. The meditator know the nature of nimitta. So in this way that he doesn't have any doubt. Vichara, despair, doubt, right? Piti, remove away. So if you like that meditation object, you will like it. So you will have a joy and rapture in your mind. So the moment you are meditating on that, because your mind is not going anywhere, just focus on, just fixed to that shining sake. Then you begin to like it. You have a lot of joy here, different type of joy, right? From your body, from your mind. So you have a piti. So if you have piti, or if you have joy, there's no airway, right? There's no airway. It's quite reasonable. So here, piti remove airway. Sukha dispels restlessness and worry. Normally, if we have sukha, bodily and mentally, no worry. Our body is still, right? Tranquil. So if we do not have sukha, restless and worry. Here, your meditator is taking only one meditation object, full of joy, and he is examining meditation object, and Vitakka always bring to the meditation object. So in this way, he has maintained a lot of pleasure physically and mentally, right? So therefore, sukha or pleasure, despair, restlessness and worry. Most importantly, ekagata, one-pointedness of the mind, dispels sensory desire. So all these are 5 hindrances. So if your mind is fixed, one-pointedness of the mind is fixed to meditation object, no thinking about anything. It's logical to think that no sensory desire, just thinking or just lock, right? That meditation object. So therefore, most importantly, ekagata dispels sensory desire. So if we have vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, that will be the first jhana, right? The first jhana. So that means, so the moment you can remove all the 5 hindrances, you attain the first jhana. If we say that, in other words, we can say that if you have initial application, apply application to the meditation object, you have a joy regarding with the because of meditation object, you have a pleasure bodily and mentally. If your mind is focused or point to one that only one meditation object, then you attain the first jhana, right? Or these 5 jhana factors. Rose Apple Tree. This is written by Bhante Rivatatama from Myanmar. After removing all these hindrances, the mind is fixed and locked in the meditation object. That is a bright, luminous and steady sign, or nimitta. It is bright, luminous and steady sign. So therefore, by that time, the mind also luminous, the mind also bright, right? So the mind and nimitta are one. So nimitta is reflection of the mind. The mind is free from 5 hindrances. So therefore, the mind is clear and pure and bright. So therefore, meditation object, the reflection of the mind also bright and pure, right? Of course, if we remove the first jhana factor, vitakka is a, shaking. Vitakka is a bringing the mind to the object. Actually, it's just like a going to and fro, right? To and fro. So therefore, it's shaking. So when meditator trying to practice, but here let me do it. Meditator attain the first 5 material sphere jhana. The reason why we call 5 material, because of nimitta. The moment we attain the first jhana, nimitta or shining circuit one is no more real material one. It is just a concept or mental image created by our mind, right? Our mind. So therefore, it is a material one, but it is replica or copy of the material form. Therefore, we use fine material sphere jhana, right? The reason why we use fine material. To ascend to higher jhanas, meditator has to remove grosser jhana factors step by step. So when you remove initial application with tagga, you attain second jhana. If you remove examining or sustained application, you attain third jhana. If you remove joy or rapture, piti, you attain the fourth jhana. If you remove pleasure, sukha, then you attain the fifth jhana. So if you attain the fifth jhana, the mind is quite luminous. With the fine, not fine, refined, I will say that, refined material, shining and pure nimitta. The moment we attain the fourth jhana, of course, that object, the mind is too clear, too bright, and too luminous. So therefore, the reflection of the mind, nimitta also getting bright, getting reflect. So remember that it is only 9 and 10 inches, right? So that nimitta is only 9 and 10 inches. So this is the fine material jhana. Fine material jhana. How we attain the fine material jhana? By practicing the arc casino disc, right? Now let's talk about immaterial jhanas. Immaterial jhanas. So the first immaterial jhana, the base of the infinity of space, akasana sayadana. Immaterial, it's not material one, right? Not material. For one who has attained the base of infinity of space, that means for one who attained the first immaterial jhana, the perception of form has ceased. This is very important. The perception of form has ceased. So only you don't have perception of form, then you attain immaterial jhana. Otherwise, you cannot. You cannot, right? It's very important one. So this is a nupapa nirodha, gradual cessation. So actually, people have a wrong perception that immaterial jhanas are not good. Immaterial jhanas are not good. Actually, it's not so. It is a gradual cessation. Even Venerable Sariputta, he became arahant by attaining all the jhana. Gradual cessation, Of course, Venerable Sariputta, why he is practicing the first jhana, why he is entering the first jhana, so he examined the nature of jhana factor, how they arise, how they disappear, nature, dukkha, anatta. Then he moved to second jhana and he examined how jhana factors in the second jhana arises and disappear. So up to the last jhana, the last arupa jhana, right? I will explain it later what. So when you want to attain immaterial jhana, so the perception of form has ceased. Normally we have a lot of perception about form, right? We see people, this is perception of form. And we hear, this is also perception of sounds, right? Later we will see it. So because of that, we have a lot of problem, right? If we see the perception of form that we do not like, suffering here. But if we do not have the perception of form, less suffering. It's very, very philosophical, very important, right? So therefore, I normally say that between the difference between sense consciousness sense consciousness. Kama vajra, sense consciousness, and refined material and immaterial consciousness. The difference between jhana and kama vajra is that, so as a kama vajra cheda, we have to rely on so many things, right? We have to rely on something we see. If something we see is not pleasant to us, suffering here. If we hear unpleasant sound, suffering here. Because we rely on the external object, right? Also internal object as well. But regarding with the jhana, you just rely on your mind only. You just rely on your mind only. So therefore, thing that you depend on is only one. Just like that, if our life is depend on somebody, many people, we have to look at their faces, right? Then, if we depend on only one person, we have to look at only one person, right? If we depend on our own, no need to look at everyone. Nibbana is like this. Nibbana, no base, no base. If you attain Nibbana, no base, no dependent. Therefore, actually in Ethiopia, there is one soda, it's called Anesida. Anesida means not dependent on. Nibbana doesn't depend on anything. Nibbana doesn't depend on something you see, something you hear, something you eat like this. No dependent on, independent or freedom. Very, very. But here also, now we try to reduce independency, right? Now, in material jhana state, you are not dependent on form. You don't have perception of form. Actually, your happiness is getting higher and higher because you have less dependency, right? You don't need to rely on form. But when you are entering fine material jhanas, rupa vajra jhana, but you rely on that shiny sakhe, right? So you are relying on that, the nimeda, that nimeda. If that nimeda is not shining, you are not happy, right? You're not happy because you rely on that object. Here, in material jhana, you try to reduce the amount of dependency, right? You are not relying on dependent on form, right? So therefore, one of the students asked 2 weeks ago, right? If the fire break off, whether we can came out from the jhana. I don't know. I think when we attain immaterial jhana, I think you may have a less contact with the outside world, right? Less contact with the outside world. So therefore, I story 2 story, right? A disciple of Alara Kalama. As you know, the Alara Kalama attained the third immaterial jhana that we are going to learn. As you know, he does not know the 500 Volaka passerby, right? He does not hear, he does not feel it, because he doesn't depend on the form, right? So therefore, he doesn't hear, but he have perception of the mind. Even though he is awake, even though he has perception of mind, and he doesn't hear. But the Buddha said that one time the Buddha was meditating. So at that time, the thunderbolt struck, right, with a big noise, and 2 farmers and 4 cows died at once. But the Buddha doesn't have to the Buddha, nothing happened to the Buddha. But many people came approach to the Buddha. Ascetics, they only, don't you know that there is a very long, dangerous thunderbolt, right? Thunderbolt, and two farmers are dead, right? Two farmers dead, and 4 corns. But nothing happened to you. What happened? And the Buddha said that I do not know. Are you sleeping? No, I am not. The Buddha said, I'm not sleeping. The Buddha said, he has perception. That means he's meditating. Then I will say that it will be the fourth immaterial jhana, the last one. Neither perception or non-perception. So he didn't notice all the, if you learn even the first one, you will know it. You will know it. Here, with the passing away of perception of sensory impingement. The passing away of perception of sensory impingement. So there will be a lot of noise outside. So those sounds cannot touch your ear. There will be a lot of smell maybe, a lot of smell. So that smell cannot touch his sensory perception. The reason is he cut off, relying on the form, right? Rupa, relying on the rupa. So this is the first immaterial jhana. So the base of infinite space, with the complete surmounting of perception of form. Here, complete surmounting of perception of form. So there is no, cannot see. You will not see it, you will not hear it. When you attain immaterial jhana, you will not get smell, or you will not know you are touching. Totally, complete surmounting of perception of form, right? With the passing away of perception of sensory impingement. So even though a very big noise, even though a very bad smell cannot impinge in his sensory senses, right? So the moment one attain the first immaterial jhana. With the non-attention to perception of diversity. So here, Nanata Senyanami, we have a lot of perception in our mind. Perception about people, the places, and food, everything. But here, he ignored everything. No intention to perception of diversity. Perceiving space is infinite, or infinite space. Nanto akaso. A bhikkhu enters and dwells in the base of infinity of space. Akasani sayadana. So I think it will take a little bit time to explain this. So anyway, we have to explain to understand, right? But sorry that I cannot write how to attain immaterial jhana. It's not easy to write, but I was trying to explain, right, with the best way. Remember that the moment we attain the fifth five material jhana, rupa vajra jhana, right? The fourth rupa vajra jhana. So our meditation object is shiny and luminous sake. In diameter will be only 9 or 10 inches, right? 10 inches. For those who want to attain immaterial jhana, so in the meditation process, he knows that the perception of form is very dangerous. While meditating, that shiny sake become less luminous or less bright. This point over here, he doesn't like it. he want to make that shiny ball getting brighter and brighter. But sometimes it doesn't happen. It will here. So therefore, he doesn't like to rely on perception of form, even perception of that shiny circuit. He wants to remove it, and he knows that if we can remove that shiny circuit, in other words, it is a mental image that is connected with the form. So to attain immaterial jhana, so we have to remove perception of form, right? So that shiny circuit is perception of form. So if he can remove that one, so his concentration will be getting steady, getting stable. If he doesn't rely on material form, then he will have a better and also more happiness, right? So therefore, you want to attain immaterial jhana. So how to remove that one? So now we have only 9 and 10 inches, right? Then you have to practice with the 5 mastery of the jhana, right? So you have to practice to clear in the 5th jhana again and again. And you try to develop your concentrations. So when you develop your concentration, that shining circuit, a luminous circuit, getting brighter and brighter, right? And getting clearer and clearer. Then you try to enlarge that 10 feet, 10 inches circuit into 1 feet 1 and 2 feet 1, 3 feet, 10 feet. Just like a circuit around this temple. You try to enlarge. Remember that we are trying to enlarge the circuit with the power of the mind. Especially our mind is concentrated. One pointedness of the mind. All the attention go to that meditation object, that shiny circuit, nimitta, right? Now you try to enlarge bit by bit. 1 feet, 10 feet. The circuit just like Mangala Vihara. The circuit just like Singapore. Try to enlarge with your mind, right? With power. Then you try to enlarge just like our clothes. The circuit, shiny circuit is getting bigger, right? Getting bigger. So if you can, enlarge up to the as much as you can, as much as you wish, right? Then the whole space will be shining circuit. Actually, that one is material form, a copy of material form, a concept or mental image created by your mind. Very getting bigger, right? Bigger. So what you do is you trying to forget about that, a very big circuit, shining circuit, and you visualize in your mind, you with the willpower. Space is infinite. Space is infinite. Infinite space. You try to visualize that very big circuit as a space. If we visualize as a space, nothing, right? Nothing. Here we have a lot of people here. The table, a lot of table, fan, aircon, etc. Then I try to remove with the willpower. No people, no table, nothing, right? Then the whole place became space. If in my mind, if this is it became space, nothing to attach, right? Nothing to be angry. This is willpower. So here also, so for those who want to attain immaterial jhana, he tried to reduce the amount of dependency to the material object, right? So actually shining circle is material, the copy of material object. So he visualized, he imagined himself with the concentration, the power of concentration, the power of willpower, and he infinite space, infinite space, infinite space. Later on, with the power of concentration, the power of the mind, that very big circle became space. No more material form. So in his mind, there is no perception of form. Right? Look at this one. No intention, with the non-attention to perception of diversity. So if you look at this one much clearer, with the complete surmounting of perception of forms, even though you use your willpower to make that very big shining circle, with the willpower you try your infinite space. You try to visualize in your mind as a infinite space, infinite space, infinite space. But in your mind, you still have perception of form. But try to do it again. Infinite space, hundreds and thousands of times, millions and billions of times. But of course, if you have a lot of perfection, a lot of parami, you can do it very quickly. You can do it very quickly. But if you have less perfection, you have to do it many times, right? But later on, so there will be no perception of form in your mind. So that very big one became space, right? So I will give you another example. You go to Sentosa, so you see, you just look at the ocean, right? In the ocean, there will be sand ship, right? Sand ship. So when you see them, your mind is not free, right? Then you're trying to imagine total space, no ship, nothing, right? So you become very free, right? Very free. So this is power of the mind. So you trying to meditate that very big shining circle as the infinite space. You're trying to visualize this infinite space, infinite space, infinite space. So later on, so all the perception of form will disappear. So in your mind, there is only one perception, that is space, right? Space. Here also, when I came here, nothing, I do not see anything, just meditating, space, infinite space, space. If I am doing thousand times, I use my willpower, right? You always disappear. Yeah, of course, in my mind, willpower. Just like that, right? So here, the meditator, he reduced the amount of independency or dependency to the form, right? Material form. So this way, so normally he doesn't like, before he attained the first arupa jhana, the first immaterial jhana, he doesn't like that shining circle. So doesn't like me, he have a way, right? A way. Now actually it's very important that when you attain the first jhana, all the sensual pleasure became a danger for you. Now you are entering the first jhana. There, a slight degree of desire to sensual pleasures arises. you see it as a danger. You see it as a disease. You're very afraid that if your mind inclined to sensory desire or a way, then you fall from the jhana. You're afraid because jhana is better than sensory perceptions, right? Better than sensory perceptions. So when you attain second jhana, vitakka is a danger for you. When you attain third jhana, vitakka vichara, right? And when you attain the fourth jhana, if you have a slight degree of joy in your mind, you don't like it. So that joy, the rapture, shaking your happiness, right? You don't like it. You see it as a sickness or disease. It is mentioned in the Anguttara Nikaya. The Buddha said that. But when you attain the first immaterial jhana, the base of infinite space, when you attain this jhana, so you're really afraid that the perception of form appear in your mind. You're really afraid. So when you have perception of form, you fall from immaterial jhana. So therefore, the perception of form is a danger or a thorn or a disease for you when you attain this one. So therefore, meditator trying to run away from perception of form. So actually, the commentator gave a very beautiful example, simile. So one of the guy go to the forest to do something. But in the forest, he see very big snake. But he ran away. The snake ran after him. But he ran away. Cannot look at, dare not to look back. So ran away. And he is near the village. Actually, now he is safe. But he looked back. But he see rope. So he think that it is a snake. He ran away. He ran away again. It is not a real snake, right? But he thinks that it is dangerous. In his mind, right? His experience in the forest, he see very big snake. But even though he see the rope, just like a snake, right? And he ran away again. Just like that. Actually, therefore, the Buddha said that the mind of meditator, the mind who is in jhana is cannot be think. It's very fascinating and also surprising and astonishing, right? Astonishing. Now we have a lot of, we are not independent. We always rely on people, right? We always rely on the beautiful songs, music, and we are looking at the movie, right? So we have a lot of, we are relying on a lot of things. So we are not free. But here, meditator at the fifth rupa jhana. So actually, it is not a real material form. It is just a mental image created by the mind. But meditator is afraid. This is a copy of material form. He ran away, right? Then he attained by imagining or visualizing that very big shining nimitta as a infinite space. Actually, it is a kind of deceiving our mind, right? We're trying to, just like a difficulty, right? He's trying to just trick our mind, right? Tricking our mind like this. So here, by visualizing the object infinite space, then our mind, eventually began to believe that it is a infinite space, no material form at all, right? So in this way, if there is no perception of material form, and he attains immaterial, the first jhana, very bit difficult, right? Very bit difficult. So here, when you attain the first jhana, you do not rely on the form, right? You just rely on the infinite space. So infinite space is not reality. This one also a concept created by our mind. It doesn't exist. Our mind created it, right? So therefore we call it panyati. This one is the base of infinite space. The infinite space is not reality, it is just concept, just panyati, right? Because we created, our mind created it. Any question?
This jhana is so difficult. Then why not go for Vipassana, reading the Anapana?
Okay, very good question. So actually to attain jhanas are very difficult. Why not really go to Vipassana? Of course, different people have a different mindset, right? Some people want to attain jhana, right? Some people directly go to Vipassana. Of course, the aim of Buddhism is to stop suffering. So if we can go to Vipassana directly, then we can attain Nibbana, of course. But the jhanas are very powerful tool to see the real nature of phenomena. So therefore, as I said, I think you can note down one of the sutta, very beautiful suttas, Anupada Sutta from Majjhima Nikaya, sutta number 111. Sutta number 111 from Majjhima Nikaya. So when you read that sutta, you will see the beauty of the suttas. So Venerable Sariputta, he trying to attain the first jhana. During the first jhana, he trying to see the nature of jhana factor, how vitakka arises, how piti arises, like this, right? But in that sutta, not only 5 jhana factors, a lot of jhana factors there, right? So regarding to Venerable Sariputta, the first jhana, and he examined the nature of the real nature of the reality of jhana factor. Second jhana, the same. Third jhana, the fourth jhana. You see rupa, 4 level, right? The arupa jhana is the same. Then he examined, and second arupa jhana, third arupa jhana, and he examined the nature of jhana factors. But when he came to the last one, the fourth arupa jhana, that he cannot examine the nature of jhana factors. I want to say that during jhana, during you are entering jhana, that he have to come out from the jhana, emerge from the jhana. Then he review the nature of jhana factors, because neither perception or non-perception, very subtle one, right? Very difficult to see the nature of jhana factor. Then he have to emerge from the jhana, then examine. After examining, he go to cessation of perception and feeling. Sanya, Virita, Nidora. So when you attain that one, so there is no perception, no feeling at all. So the mind totally stop working. No mind at all. There is no material form caused by the mind. So there is no material form caused by the mind. So there is only material form or rupa caused by the weather, caused by the food that you eat previously. So the ma here, the most important thing is, even though we use perception, feeling, so perception and feelings are the most important ingredients, so the most prominent one. So therefore, the Buddha used only two, but it implies that, so in that attainment, not jhana, it's attainment. I think some people say that immaterial attainments are not jhana. The Buddha do not use that one as a jhana, but it's a open to question. Maybe I need to look at the sutta again. But one of the scholars said that during the jhana, you cannot examine jhana factors. Actually, it is not so. In many sutta, the Buddha clearly said that during the jhana, you can examine jhana factor, the nature of jhana factor, right? So the moment you attain the first jhana, you examine the nature of jhana factor, the nature of piti, the nature of equanimity, the nature of pleasure, etc., right? You can examine during your jhana. But of course, the moment you examine, there may be some bhavanga, right? Not continuous jhana consciousness. So anyway, so there we have a lot of sutta that confirm that during the jhana, even during the jhana, we can examine, right? So therefore, regarding with the jhana, a lot of controversy. Maybe I will try my best to teach jhana in the sutta class. Not here, sutta study class, because the learning Buddhist teaching with the sutta is much better. We can prove it, right? You can see it by yourself. Now I'm talking myself. So whatever I said, whether you believe it or not, just listening, right? No proof. No proof. So therefore, I'm trying to give suttas. That's very important evidence, right? Actually, for those who want to know further, you can go and read this one. In Anguttara Nikaya, chapter 9, sutta number 32. The best way to learn, right? So if you go and read the suttas, then you will know it. You can examine, right? If you are reading the sutta very often, you will know it, the flow of the sutta, right? So in this way, you can examine by yourself. You can determine by yourself, right? Whether it is right or wrong. Right or wrong. So regarding with the Vipassana, as I said, in Lokapala Sayadaw, in summary, we have 8 Lokapala Sayadaw, right? So if we multiply, we have 40 Lokapala Sayadaw. The reason is that when somebody attains Sotapaddi Magga during the first jhana stage, right? That is a Sotapaddi Magga Sayadaw related to the first jhana. But during second jhana, then you attain Sotapaddi Magga Sayadaw. So in this way, we have 5 jhana, right? 5 rupa jhana. So Sotapaddi Magga also became multiplied 5. So totally it became 40. So the reason why I want to share is that, so through jhana, either the first jhana or second jhana or the fifth jhana, you can attain the supramundane consciousness. Supramundane consciousness. So the moment you examine the nature of reality, the real nature of mental and physical phenomena, mind and body, right? Mind and body. Then you examine during your jhana. Then later you have an insight that is Vipassana. You realize the nature of piti arises, and disappear, arises and disappear. You yourself realize the nature of the mind. So if you realize that nature, that reality during your meditation, and that can apply in your daily life as well. Not only the body is subject to change, the mind also subject to change. You will realize that you can apply that knowledge in your daily life. When somebody dies, you have insight. Here, already have insight. That is the nature of impermanence. Something that arises has the nature of cessation, like this, right? That is called insight, or knowledge, or wisdom. So if you have such insight, such wisdom, you have less suffering. If you become Sotapanna, you relieve suffering, 25% suffering. Sakadagami, 50% suffering. Anagami, 75%. Arahant, 100%. No suffering at all. So therefore, I think some people do not like the word. Many people do not want to translate dukkha as a suffering. For me, I like suffering. Because the reason is the real meaning is suffering. Dukkha, when you look at suttas, you will see, right? Even the first sermon, right? The first sermon. How the Buddha defined the dukkha satya, you will see it really is suffering, right? So one of the wisdom scholar from the West, said that recently, maybe 2 years ago, I know. Actually, I didn't notice. So only he said that I noticed. Buddhist monks always talk about suffering. They seem to be very happy. They are using suffering, right? The word suffering. But contrary to that, they seem to be happy. The reason is Buddhism just look at the reality, right? The reality. Even the nature of death. So we use it as a meditation method. So the Buddha recommend that we are subject to time. I am subject to die. I am subject to die. I am subject to die. Meditating on that. Meditating. So by meditating like this, then I do not fear of death. That is a true wisdom, right? Wisdom. So Buddhism rely on wisdom. But many people rely on faith in the world. Even in Buddhist, even among the Buddhists, many people rely on faith, right? Of course, faith is very important. But without faith, we cannot practice, right? Very important. But faith must be combined with the wisdom or insight, right? Insight. So therefore, of course, to attain jhana is not easy, but different disposition. Some people like to attain jhanas, right? The Latin practice. But some people, their aim is to stop suffering, right? Then they really go to Vipassana. So Vipassana simply means seeing the real nature of phenomena, mental and physical phenomena. So if we see the real nature of our body, our mind, less suffering, right? Less suffering. Any question? Okay. Mind's eye. Okay. 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 Oh. Good question. Okay. Where mind or mental? What you mean, mind or mental object? Mind's eye. Oh, actually, it's a idiom. In the idiom, it's talking about in the mind. In the mind's eye, mean how to say, using idiomatic way. Idiomatic way. Because normally when we see with our own eye, very clear, right? Very clear. By using in your mind's eye, so that means the shining circle is very clear in your mind. Just idiomatic expression. It's not something new. In the mind. Same. Yeah. Actually, even here, did you attend the first lessons? The first 2 or 3 lessons? Or second lesson? Because in Buddhism, we do not believe that mind exists somewhere. Mind doesn't exist anywhere. It arises depending on conditions, causes. With eye, and something to see, right? Eye is one cause. Something to see is one cause. Then we have intention, or not intention, attention. We have attention. Even though we see somebody, if we do not have attention, right, we will not see it. Attention also one of the cause. Based on those causes, mind arises. So we cannot find where the mind is. But of course, Buddhism said that mind arises based on the heart. Based on the heart, not the brain. Not the brain. So serious meditators, they really know themselves. So here, they feel it here. Then only go to the brain very quickly. Very quickly like this. Okay, so time is up. So, next, we have one announcement. Teacher Lily will announce. So next week there will be no class. 1 week off.
Okay, just 2 announcements. Next Monday, 12th of June, 7:30, Monte Lokapala will give a talk about dependent origination. Same place, 7:30. Then in July the 3rd, I believe you all have learned a lot of, or they have recommended a lot of suttas to all of you. But do you really know how to read sutta? So we have invited Brother Tan. Some people might know him, to give a talk on how to read sutta and what benefits do we get from reading sutta. So 3rd of July, 7:30 is a Monday at this hall. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's thank in Chinese.
Cha cha